And we're live.
I was telling somebody about that the other day, about that ridiculous rental car that you were in coming up that hill. Oh,
That
what
was
was
awful.
it? It was a
struggling?
Toyota. It was a
Start with
Toyota
a P,
Cervix, or the
Cervix.
pussy, the Clipmobile.
Was it the
pussy
electric
wagon.
one?
No, it wasn't electric. God, what is Toyota's
It had about
smallest
15
car?
horsepower.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Woody was coming up this icy mountain to Killington to meet us, and he was several hours late, but it wasn't his fault. He'd had all these travel issues, and he was moving
Plane
at
was
about
canceled,
he was
stuff like
moving about 25, 30 miles an hour up the hill, but his wheels are spinning about 50 miles an hour to get that speed.
that. Yeah.
That car
That's not what happened. It had this traction control. So even if you floored it, it would just barely turn the tires.
Okay.
And I don't know. I would have rather spun the tires and see what I could get with it. I didn't see any way to turn off the traction control. I still can't find this car. Is it a Matrix?
It was the
Echo?
smallest, shittiest Toyota.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend who is it a Yaris?
Yeah. I think it was a
Yeah.
Yaris.
It's like this little egg-looking thing that just sounds like when little kids get those like Jeeps that they sit in that's powered by like 6D batteries and they around the living room. Like it sounds like that.
It's the kind of car that nobody wants. Just people have to settle for it. And
It was quite bad. And I just remember, like, when you pulled in the yard, I met you outside, and I was like, yeah, follow me. We'll go around back, and I'll show you where to park. And I was like, let's race. And I'm running as fast as I can in, like, I don't know, 8 inches to maybe 2 feet of snow. It varied. And he's driving as fast as he can through the icy, wet snow. And we're making about the same speed.
I think Kyle was faster. Yeah. I couldn't
In
keep
the
up with the
corners.
man on foot in this car.
It's such a depressing car. And then if someone has it, they have to like put on a face of like, well, great fuel economy. Like just
Go ahead and worry about anybody stealing it.
I'm going green. Not by choice, but
I used to have a Ford Focus, which I think is a level higher than the Yaris in my opinion. But I didn't like it. I'd walk through the parking lot, and every car, I wish I had that one more than my own.
Yeah, I told my girlfriend that story, like you just told, about you having the Focus and that feeling of every car is better than mine. This is as bad as it gets. God damn it.
Yeah, and it's subjective. To some people that might be like, I like it. It's nimble. I can park it easily. I can change lanes. Maybe that's what they're looking for.
There's somebody in a Pinto over there looking at your green grass.
God damn it.
Or even
I wish my car wasn't an explosive risk like that Focus.
there could be someone in an old full-size truck saying, man, I wish my car started that quickly and got that kind of economy or whatever. But for what I like in a vehicle, a Ford Focus is the opposite.
Yeah, Focus is pretty fucking lame. And there are very shitty trim levels of the Focus because it's their bottom tier car. They make like a bottom tier of the Focus. They got the 2-door hatchback. I think it's like an X something 3. It used to be. And you got a 4-cylinder engine, a 5-speed, no electric anything. Cloth seats.
That's what I had.
It goes vroom vroom, and that's about it.
It had a I think it had a tape deck, but no CD player. It had manual windows. It has a 5-speed stick shift.
Kind of sporty, even for a 4-cylinder. I always thought though, I like.
That's what I thought when I first got it. It was like, yeah, it's kind of a sporty thing, and it just won this like European Car of the Year thing, and so it was like they imported it in the U.S. and it's like, oh yeah, we finally get those cool European cars that they never bring here, and. But then you drive it for a while and you realize the tires are like 4 inches wide and it's just a
They
shitty...
really are. They really are very, very narrow. It's a shitty car. It really is. It's quite bad.
And they might have gotten better. Mine was a long time ago.
Yeah, they have gotten better. Even now, I feel like new cars now are all fairly nice, but I guess every generation does, right? If in 2004 you probably thought a 2004 looked pretty slick.
Yeah.
But
can you believe every car comes with air conditioning now? They used to be an option. Now it's like heated seats are practically standard. Go on.
It's so it's standard like across the board pretty much, but for our lost leaders, a lost leader is like a car that's out there in the papers for like $8,000 brand new, but you get there and it's not really there. But what we had to do so that we're not technically defrauding people, because people are serious about that Better Business Bureau shit. They will report you. We would special order one to be extra shitty. You know what I mean? Like sure, the F-150 originally had carpet in the floorboard, but we told them to rip it out and replace it with rubber. It actually costs more in the long run, but rubber. We would order them to order it without an air conditioner or without a heater, shit like that, and in Atlanta. So basically, you've got a brand new 2015 F-150 for $8,595.
No AC.
No AC, no anything. It's an engine and a transmission, and it's got the doors and the seats in it, and that's it. Like, it's made to be a car that you don't want. So that they'll come in, say, well, I don't want that, and you'll say, well, if you want this, and that, look at this $15,000 one, or look at this $12,000 used one that you can actually make a profit on.
Yeah, that you stripped out some must-haves. Yeah,
you strip out the must-haves. But
you were like, hey, it doesn't even come with carpet. I'm like, well, I can still deal with that. Loss leader me, bitch. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You're like, even in Mad Max, they had a windshield. What the fuck?
Did anyone ever buy those?
Yeah. Some people would make a point of it. I remember so I don't think this is racist at all, but the truth is that Asians are the most. They come from some Asians come from a culture of bartering, and so they come in and they really bust your balls, and they're very cheap too. I noticed that every single time. And this Korean guy came in and just hassled us for hours on this $9,000 F-150, and he was just like, he wanted more off. That wasn't good enough. Like, we're just like, take it or leave it. We don't fucking care. And he's like, no, you got to come down to this price. You got to come down. And he's got the paper from like a week prior when we were selling it for a lower price. But that's neither here nor there. And I just remember my manager freaking out and being like, because the guy had broken English and it was just a bitch to even, negotiate with him. He knew numbers, but that was it. So I'm constantly writing up agreements and sign here and just pushing and pushing and pushing. And my manager finally sees we can't close it. And he rips the newspaper out of the guy's hand that he kept pointing to. He's like, this is no good, no good, bad. He crumples that fucking newspaper up and throws it in the floor. Worthless. $9,000, $9,000. He circles. Here, sign. He's just like, no, still too high. He's like, get out. That's it. Just walks away. So that was my favorite part of that job, was when you've got to kiss the customer's ass up until the point where you know that you can't sell them a car. And then you can flip it 180 degrees and be as big of a dick as you want. And so I'm just as excited about selling a car as I am about finding a situation where I can't sell a car. Because I get to finally be like, well, fuck you anyway, Bob, you asshole, you time-wasting roach.
No, we'll see. I'm not in the market for a car right now. I get truck fever every so often. I've been talking about it for a while. Right now, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't buy one. I have done nothing but work for months now. It'd just be sitting in the driveway doing nothing.
Scott's truck had an interesting little accessory, I guess, that I didn't notice until today. He showed it to me. When you let the bed down, the top portion of the bed in the center pulls out, and there's like a step, right. And then it's got like a handle that turns up bed to grab onto. And he was talking about sometimes he's got to carry heavy parts and get them in the back, and he'll just step up in it with the part and sit it down. It looked really functional. I was jealous.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I've seen it on YouTube a lot, that step, and it's good. The Chevys, on the other hand, just have it sort of built into the bumper. And I don't know what I like better. Like, his goes lower, and it has a handrail. So his is definitely better, but it's like a 15-second setup. And there seem like a lot of moving parts. So I wonder if when that thing's 16 years old, if it's still going to work like that, or if it's going to be all like rusted and you kind of poke it in and it's gritty because of whatever.
I didn't mess with it much.
The step welded into on the Chevy, it's just the bumper is like carved out like a step. That's going to be the same for your life. Yeah.
I always liked the step side trucks. I thought they looked much better than the straight beds. My F-150 had those. I always liked that look. It just was a much more attractive truck in my eyes when it had the step side.
Taylor, you gonna ever get a truck and man up a little bit? You know, stop being such a goddamn pussy.
I don't know. Maybe someday. I don't really want a truck.
What are you gonna do when you need 100 fucking hay bales to build a castle with?
Yeah. How are you going to bring home all that mulch?
Well, that's what I was getting to. I'm gonna get an SUV. I'd like to get a really nice Jeep Grand Cherokee.
To soccer.
No, no. Something I could take, load all the guns in the back, go shooting. I mean, I've gone out on those hills before in my Chrysler, like driving on dirt roads, like so I can set up and then we can go shooting. And I just look like a real dick out there in that thing. It looks like a drug dealer's car, and I'm like shooting clays, and it's like a real conflict of cultures. I really like the Jeep Grand Cherokee, like the SRT8 one. Real quick, and they're really nice on the inside. A friend of mine had one of those. It was like $60,000. His parents were millionaires, and they just bought it for him. I don't know. Ever since then, I've wanted one of those. But as far as the truck goes, nah, I don't use it enough to justify it, and I'd feel like a prick.
You can get used Cherokees really reasonably. Like you can get a beautiful one for $30,000, or you can get an expensive one for like $8,000 or something that still has a lot of life in it. But they keep showing up as like a car not to buy.
I've seen that. Like I had an '04 Grand Cherokee before I got this car I'm in, and I liked it. It worked. It's had way less problems than this stupid fucking thing that I'm in now. That has had. I bet I've spent $5,000 on this thing just.
You should try a non-Chrysler car if you'd like to see what reliability is like.
I know. I really like the look of the Jeeps, and I like the Jeeps.
You're so right. God, Chrysler always crushes it with their design. In the trucks too, like the Rams, in my mind, beautiful looking. They're so macho compared to like the Ford and the Chevy.
The new ones
like
don't even have a stick shifter though. They have this goofy little dial that you like twist it, like drive. Oh no, I'm gonna go to reverse because we're in the fucking future now. Where this is too hard.
That's why I like the F-150s having it on the floor. I like that. I don't like having it on the column.
Yeah, I don't know. I always have stick shifts, but I saw that dial and I thought it was pretty cool actually. But I saw some guy wearing leather gloves. It was like, yeah, I see. That's perfect for cowboys.
When I'm wrestling cattle, I can't be taking time to shift down. I need a quick spin and I'm on my way.
It was just like, look, that dial was sized so that you can operate it with work gloves on, like a lot of things in trucks are. And it just seemed perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I really like a new truck, but I also, it burns me up inside. Like if I had a new truck sitting in the driveway right now getting 4,000 miles a year, I'd feel silly.
That's for you. I feel like a lease is actually a thing you should do. Imagine this: maybe. if you got like I don't know which would be more attractive, but maybe a 24-month lease with like really low mileage per year because you're not going to drive it much. You could do like a 24 or 36-month lease on one of these badass, crazy expensive trucks, and maybe and put the mileage low, like 8K a year, something like that, and you'd be able to right away that all right, I'm going to sink whatever the payments would be. I'm going to sink $8,000 into a new truck experience. Once it's all over, you got nothing to show for it, right? But you still get that experience you wanted without sinking $60,000.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think leases sometimes make sense. It just depends on what. I used to deal with a lot of customers, and I would ask them like, so what's your mode of operation with vehicles? Like what was your last car? How long ago was that? And the one before that, and the one before that. And I'm like, look at this pattern here. You buy a new car every 3 years. Why are you eating all this depreciation every time? If you know going in that part of your life is just gonna be a car payment, that part of your life that has $600 carved out in it, that every month you're gonna be paying for a car because you like a new one every 3 years, and you're just not gonna get this thing paid off and then hang on to it for a dozen years like the other half of society might do, then leasing a car might be the best option. You're gonna still have that payment. You're gonna get a lower payment, and you're gonna know that my lease is almost up. It's time to get a new car. Time to do it again.
I hear you. I have been the other guy in society thus far, though. My truck is 13 years old now. It's 2016.
Yeah. That's definitely a more responsible way to do it, right? But it requires the added things like maintenance and storage that come along with keeping a car for a decade or more. but I think it's the better option. I mean, you've got your truck, and
it's awesome.
It's awesome. Like, you paid whatever you paid for it. It's just 20,000 or whatever, and like, that's, then you just maintained it, and it's still trucking. It's still being a truck, all these years later.
My last car payment was in 2003.
There you go.
So that's nice.